December, so I am expecting full-on North Pole vibes here. Sure enough, soon as we are through the front door, little display of what's to come, and some stocking fillers, I suppose, some gifts for young ones. Look at these, it is a garden centre. There's some child-sized gardening tools there. I think they're child ones anyway, they might be adult ones. But yeah, look at these cute little stocking fillers. I think stockings are the most fun things to buy. And then this tree's got some of these modern decorations. They all seem to be weird and wonderful now, don't they? But I think they're quite good fun. I'm not doing shopping this year. I'm very little to buy actually. Look at this little display, little animatronic music. I don't like the music. Well, some might say they're quite scary, but they are appealing. I've seen a few adults going past recording. On we go. This corridor's wonderful and it leads you to the garden centre proper, and quite an assortment of festive seasonal plants. I think these are cyclamen, and my first Christmas tree, little dinky little Christmas tree. I remember coming here a year ago, and I remember exactly this scene, all of these trees. As I say, it is the first week of December, so I guess it's prime, fresh Christmas tree buying time. And I think if I was buying a fresh tree this year, this would be lovely. It's all undercover, so you can safely choose your perfect tree in the dry. And what's nice, the trees are all open, so you can choose your perfect specimen, and then they go in those metal hoops where they put net on them for you to take into the car. But it's a nice dry bright day, and it's quite nice to see all the other plants that, even though we're in the depths of winter, there's still nice splashes of colour. Lots of red, and well, these berries are really gorgeous. You can probably tell I'm not a natural gardener. I don't really know one plant from another apart from basics. These are some whoppers. Imagine having a house that's big enough for those. On the other end of the extremes, there are these tiny trees made of lavender. Now I think that's a wonderful idea. Do love lavender. And then these are equally tiny little fir trees dusted in snow with some Christmas decorations. And then these, well, what are they? Little fathery Christmas things. You can get red ones too. So I suppose those could go in the garden and be useful all year round, not just for Christmas. Lots of varieties. They are actually very cute. Quite different. Oh, and we got little, well, what are they? Elves, angels, fairies. On we go. Some pots and plants. I imagine if any of you are a garden or plant enthusiast, you're probably throwing your hands in horror at my lack of knowledge. Ironically, my mother has always loved gardening. She's a natural green-fingered person, and even now loves her plants. She's in a care home at the moment, and they've got wonderful gardens there, so I think come the summer she's going to be quite involved in all the planting. I hope so, anyway. Some beautiful indoor displays here, and again these little cute flowering plants. And well, the Christmas themed plants moves on to cacti, and yeah, some little bauble hats and scarves on these. Never fond of see poinsettias at any other time. And then we've got some artificial or fake plants and flowers. And I do like these displays. It's a little bit like the IKEA we went to a few weeks ago. And what is this? Well, I'm not sure what I think about little mushroom candles in a glass pot. Yeah, I think the less said about those, the better. Let's move away from those. Now this corner looks very homely. A little wooden cabinet with some interesting glass ornaments and more. Well, yes, we're still in the fake plant area. They do look lovely. This looks like an area where you can select your own pot and fill it with your own choice of flowers. Really does look, oh, there's those again, only now you can have green toadstools. These are cute little disco balls of all colours, and I'm feeling inclined to twirl them all around, so it looks like a proper disco in the garden centre. The Christmas displays move on, and these are very nostalgic looking to me. I seem to remember in the 70s little plants and making in school a little display out of wooden logs with artificial snow on and a red candle, always a red candle. But they do look lovely. And over here, I do like this navy, looks very sophisticated, and I love the paper cutout star as well. I'm not doing any of this myself, I've just simply got a small Christmas tree and coloured lights this year, but I love coming to look at all the decorations. It's nice Christmassy feeling. And socks, who doesn't like socks at Christmas? These are made of bamboo. They're very cute designs. Do like those. I wonder how everyone is doing with Christmas shopping, or should we not ask? I see these little, I don't know whether they're Swedish, Scandinavian little figures around. They're very popular now, and I seem to see them everywhere I go. And yet more ideas. This garden centre really do beautiful displays, I think. And this area isn't too busy. I like this. It's is it a pomegranate? Not real, obviously, a golden colour, and a couple of those in a bowl looks really lovely. I'm quite into gold coloured ornaments, and I do like that as well. And we've got some cosmetic-y things here. Tiny tin of lip balm, and I quite like that. And then beyond that, more beautiful home decor ideas, and my favourite look. It's like they knew what I was going to say. It's all gold. The golden pineapples, and that dish is lovely. Gold, sort of a lattice, and oh, the mirror is really beautiful. And again, if you've seen my IKEA video, I saw the dark walls in the kitchens and the living room areas, and I very much like dark coloured walls, and it's all lightened up with all the light coloured plant pots. Yeah, I think this looks super relaxing. I wish I could design my own home so cosily. I somehow miss the mark. I get the paint right, but it's all the extras. I'm torn. I love all of these beautiful like sitting in other people's houses that have lots of stuff, and this is irresistible to go and see what this feels like. Little plant pot with all sort of shells on the outside. Yeah, I do like other people's home decor. These are super soft little hats, sequiny ones. Yeah, there is a clothing department here as well. Garden centres have really moved on from what I remember. My parents used to come to the garden centre with me and my sister when we were young, and they were such boring places. Look, here we've got little hampers of cheese and chutneys. Yeah, far more interesting than the old pots and books and garden tools that seem to be the only things that were in garden centres when I was young. Anyway, they're almost like destinations now for people who love their homes. And I like this, it's a nice textural looking wooden bowl, and strangely it's got a sort of a squid or an octopus in silver on the side, and I do like it. It's very peculiar, but I do like it. We're in the sort of farmhouse kitchen area, like that cream wood on the wall there, and then a selection of various dishes and coasters, and well, I see these lights. I'll come back to the candles. These are the new fad. I've got one myself actually. I saw them first in Switzerland when we were on the Interrail trip. There are LED lamps that are, you charge them, and then you can put them anywhere. You don't need to be near a plug, and they are so handy. And also they give a lovely light, a sort of a diffused light. And then we're into sort of kitchenware, and these look very Mediterranean, the bright colours, pottery and ceramic. Yeah, very Mediterranean. And then by contrast, next to them are all the muted white. Gotta be honest, I don't mind the odd bit of colour. In fact, I love orange, but I'm drawn to the pale and the coloured. I told you I was torn. And then, what's this? A jar of moonshine. Multiple jars of moonshine. It's quite a gimmick, isn't it? I imagine it would be a good present for somebody. And I do love all the fairy lights. These are beautiful. They're so delicate and dainty. Reminds me of Nigella's kitchen. Nigella Lawson. Her kitchen was full of fairy lights. And this is gin made in a town very near here, a town called Porthcawl. And I've never heard of Porthcawl gin. And my eyes have spotted this beautiful looking festive bottle. It's called Candy Cane. And I imagine it's peppermint flavoured. And then we've got some Welsh beers. May not be Welsh actually. We've got Snoring Snoozer, Bar Humbug, Stuffed Turkey, Snowballs, and there's one just the other side called North Pole. These are ales, I think. Yes, ales, and I do love a Christmassy ale, like the Hobgoblin one. These are the Welsh ones, Gower Brewery. I had these last summer. Lighthouse was my favourite. I love lighthouses anyway, and lighthouse beer was gorgeous, really crisp, clean taste. And then Gower Gold, receptacles. Quite nice. It would be very difficult to retrieve them from the cupboard just in test tubes, but I do look at these peppercorns, all different coloured peppercorns. They're very neat, but you would definitely need the holder. And then literally so many shelves of chutneys and jams and pickles, these cornichons, and the tiniest pickled onions I've ever seen. I bet those are lovely. And red cabbage. I love a red cabbage at Christmas. Well, any year. I like the pickled variety and I like the cooked one. My job this year is to make the red cabbage. My daughter is doing a dinner and I'm providing the red cabbage. I'm so looking forward to a year of cooking dinner. I wonder what the rest of you are doing, if you celebrate Christmas, that is. And what have we got here? Pastas of every colour. I do love turkey dinner. I'm quite non-traditional in that equally Christmas and Boxing Day I would happily eat something else. Pasta, maybe not. Look at these. Child pasta, teddy bear, pretty colours and shapes. Or chocolate and sea salt biscotti. But yeah, I would happily eat a chili and rice with all the trimmings and nachos. And I have done actually many Christmases and non-Christmas lunches, but at some point over Christmas I will always make a turkey dinner, even if it's not Christmas Day. I love these trees, these little trees and the warm white lights. They do look beautiful. And tiny jams again. A lot of these are local producers, I think, that you wouldn't find in the big supermarkets. I have never seen diddly squat items anywhere. Now, for those of you not familiar with diddly squat, it's a farm in the Cotswolds, I think, owned by Jeremy Clarkson, who used to do a Top Gear car program. He's not my cup of tea, I've got to be honest. I know he's very popular, people love him, but maybe he's better not doing Top Gear. I used to find Top Gear very irritating. Hope I haven't annoyed all the people who love Top Gear. But he's got various items here, like different gins, beers, and Maltese, little West Island Terrier, I think. I'm not sure what's in them. I'm not sure that's the main point. I think the main point is the tin. And of course, shortbread in a tin with a stag. It's always a stag. These are those skeletal ones which I saw on display earlier. Some rather lovely reindeers that are very bright and very lovely. Then a traditional door arch and white lights, very classy. The baubles. Baubles now are in colour themed order. Look, the palest pink is so pretty. And we've got silver and turquoise. Yeah, just all in colour order, look. From the palest over to quite dramatic dark. And I saw some of these earlier on the shop floor. They are lovely. I know some people are very particular about keeping the colour scheme throughout. I can't imagine how stressful that must be. I do like these again. Dried fruit and cones are quite nostalgic, and I imagine they smell beautiful as well. I don't have any sense of smell, which is why I didn't comment on the trees earlier. I'm sure they smell beautiful. I think that brings us to the end of my garden scent